channel where I talk about all kinds of edible things, the permaculture practices I put into place in my backyard. And here we are on a beautiful, balmy fall evening in Central Florida. I'm about 5 blocks from the ocean. And the topic of this video is planting mango seeds to use as rootstock to graft on branches from larger mango trees. And I've got several larger mango trees in the yard, but the one I want to do this experiment with is the Tommy Atkins. Now, to be honest, I don't know which particular variety is growing out of the compost bin, but as you can see, I've got mangoes growing out of the compost. And that's because I threw a lot of mango seeds in there. There's a little one down there. I believe there's also some mangoes growing behind the bin. That would be very nice. But you can see there's a couple more that are growing out of the back. So I can get at least 4 sprouts out of that compost bin. At least 4, maybe 5 or 6 or 7. Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so I think I'll just take a couple. But I know over the long haul I can do that. And I'll show you one that I took about a week and a half ago, so you can get a feel for what it looks like. And there it is. And already you can see on this one, hey, my northern garden, welcome on the stream. Yeah, it is Ace. Look at this. It's already sprouted. And that's fairly typical with these new mango sprouts, especially this one I really guess is a Tommy Atkins because of its very vigorous growth habit. I put that in a very large pot, and I do believe that's about the right thing to do. One way to go is to use a large pot and put a few in one pot. And that possibility is looking pretty good to me right now. I have several pots that are sitting around that have kind of a more dense sand, but I don't really want to plant these in sand. The mango tree, to start, I'd really like to plant it in potting soil. Let's see. Okay, this one will work. All right, here's the old longan tree. Look at that, I've got various cups and things for feeding the chickens treats. All right, this is the longan tree sprout I dug up that didn't make it. That's gonna become chop and drop. All right, and this should work just fine. But you know what, I'm not gonna actually try to carry that over. I'm gonna go get my new little cart. Oh, by the way, very pleased with the canopy management. I'm ready to take another harvest from the canopy, and I could certainly use more nutrients. You can see this one only has 2 large branches. That's that dragon eye fruit, relative of the lychee. I'm gonna trim that down, but now this has opened up this very shady area here, which is excellent because this Persian mulberry that I grew from a cutting this year will grow right up there. All right. Yeah, I got this thing this year. Why not use it? I decided to get out of the habit of trying to haul super heavy stuff in the yard. I went with the cart. For me, that works a lot better. I have a pretty small yard. All right. All right, that'll be one pot. Maybe I'll do a little experiment and try to grow it in a... Oh, this is a good one. Okay. This is from a tomato, a Seminole tomato I grew, which is a native Florida tomato, so to speak. All right, let's see. Well, I think we're full for this ride. All right, let's go ahead and pull a couple of those mangoes out of the compost bin, and it'll actually probably pull off the pit part because it won't fit through this screen. But don't worry about that if you ever are planting mangoes. It's not that important that the pit part stays on. All right, that's the scientific name for it, the pit part. Look at this thing. Which one to take? Now keep in mind, mangoes have urushiol in it, which is a type of chemical that is in poison ivy. And you can see it, shiny oils on this leaf. I'm not allergic to it. However, my daughter is, and she breaks out very badly from being exposed to it, her skin, and so do a lot of people. Actually, it's pretty common. All right, let's see. This one. Well, it'd be hard to call that a success, right? Look at that. Doesn't look like that would grow. But you know what? I bet it will grow, actually. And we're gonna have a lot of tries here. One of the things I recommend when you plant cuttings is just plant a lot, but keep them watered, and you'll increase your odds, of course. Boy, that is a really weird looking trunk. I can always tie that up. I would call that suboptimal though. All right, let's see if we can't get this thing out. Ah, it's long. Whoa. Whoa. Look at that. What? Oh. Oh, holy moly. That is a mutant. Look at this mango tree. You kidding me? Slightly Stacy, good to see you. Now that's why we do this. Wow. I feel good about this one. I really do. I'm gonna go ahead and place it down on top of here. Get a couple more. It's not like they're gonna die while we get the other ones out, but that's two good ones, as they say. All right. For some reason, I feel good about these ones around the back. Yeah, you could tell they got the fighting spirit. Some of these more so than others. Oh, where's that growing from? Ooh, way down here. Way down in the nether. Oh, ho, 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 ho. That's the winner. That's the one. Oh, look at that. That's what you want. Beautiful roots. All right, we're getting some gems. You can tell the first one was just like a piece of ramen noodle. All right, keep going in there for more. I really like the ones in the back. Could have swore I threw some on the ground. I'm really surprised they didn't just sprout up, at least a couple of them. I tried to throw them on the ground to go like, well, it'll be easier than maybe other ways. Oh, look at how long these are. All right, come on. Oh, it's another good one. Just trying to go with the flow. Oh yeah, that's another good one. Once you start, you can't stop. That's three good ones. Look at that. Those roots are growing in that rich compost. Wow, that's really interesting. And that tells me that what's in that compost is turning to delicious garden soil. So stoked on the compost. I'm about to do, I'll have to hold off because I mean, that's enough sprouts for now. All right, I got to get a little shovel now. I'm going to plant all of these. But I'm so stoked on the compost situation. I've got 2 gigantic bins full. I've been doing a good mix of the dry stuff and the wet stuff, you know, the green leaves and the dried leaves, but also the dried wood, the wood that I throw in there, the carbon, the chicken bedding, the manure. Just what a concoction. And it's gonna for sure help everything in the yard. What I'm about right now is restoring the soil health in my yard. I mean, on that path for about the last, I'd say year. And we're well on our way. Now when you put a shovel in just about anywhere in the yard, you'll find worms. That was not the case before. You got to have the worms to aerate the soil, to make the little holes so the water goes down and you have more deeper root growth, and it's just essential. You have to have the bacteria in your soil to have the health there to feed everything that needs that stuff. You know, the animal component gives you a lot of these things, but so does Permaculture worm tea, also providing other. Ooh, okay, that's what I was looking for. My favorite little shovel. Yeah, also providing other things like maybe biochar. Getting ready to do some biochar here. Yeah, permaculture rules. All right, let's see here. What are we going to do? I almost feel as if that one cutting, well, I shouldn't say cutting, sprout, that it had earned its own place at the table. That is a championship. All right, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna put most of these down to the side. I pulled out that ramen noodle. I'm not gonna plan, I'm gonna compost that one. But I'm gonna take this, which is, it looks like a little bit better potting soil, and just break it up a little bit. Now, you can track the growth of this sucker over the fall if you want. Come back to future live streams, but I always enjoy seeing what these things do. Love that shovel, by the way. You know, it's amazing how much a little shovel can make you happy if you let it. Look at that. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. Little challenging to plant it one-handed, but oh, look at that. Do you see it? What do you see there? See, even in the pots, there are beautiful worms. Now, is this a red wiggler? No. Just a regular old Florida earthworm. Love to see that. You know, that's really validation of everything I'm trying to achieve here. And I want to leave it in there. I'm stoked. Yes, Mr. Worm, make lots of worm castings, please. Make this the most excellent mango tree ever, so we can come back and make another video where I grafted a Tommy Atkins mango branch to that thing. All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Granted, it could use something to hold it up. I don't deny it. That's pretty good. And the convenience and utility of this cart thing is just never to be over complimented. It's incredible. Back saver. I had a huge surfing injury years ago and hurt my back really bad. And the doctor, of course, said, don't be lifting lots of heavy stuff. Please don't lift heavy stuff. And so I'm finally starting to listen to that, because I find out whenever I do lift heavy stuff a lot, I'm in like crazy pain for days. So it's better to just put it in the cart. It's more fun this way too. All right, and what I'm gonna do here is I decided to respect these sprouts. I feel really good about them, and I just don't wanna take it for granted. Okay, you can see this is a lot more sandy soil. Well, you know, don't overthink it. Rule number one. Yeah, that's a winner. That's worthy of its own pot. It's got the beautiful roots. Yeah, just pack it in with my hand. This is gonna pack in like beach sand. It practically is just beach sand. Nothing like getting your hands down in the sand. No worms in this stuff though. Not that I found. I do see some little creepy crawlies down in it, so that's always good. I like to see the bugs, you know? So those are two beauties. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and migrate these over to the spot I intend to let them start to grow. That other sprout did pretty well over here, so might as well just continue. Getting the hang of driving this thing. Oh, by the way, I think I'm gonna saw down this mulberry tree. It's just getting tired. Jack and I were talking about it the other day. It's such a classic. I made a number of videos. The first video I made on this channel was with this mulberry tree. So I hate to chop it down, but saw it down. But we'll utilize this trunk in some way. So we'll reincorporate it in the yard because it has so much meaning for us. But I mean, we've just sat under this thing and eaten mulberries. Everybody in my family. But don't hate me for wanting to replace it with a beautiful patio mango, because I'm ready to put a mango tree in there, and I've got the mulberries widely incorporated throughout the rest of the yard, so I am looking to increase my mango production. The thing is, it's kind of hard to find mangoes around these days. Supply's a little low. Look at that. That's the one I bought not that long ago, already sprouting. Everything got crazy amounts of bunny manure earlier in the week. All right, I think I will put the stuff over in this area. I have a bunch of just kind of experimental stuff growing along here. Tamarind tree, roselle, moringa, starfruit, mulberry, aloe. All right. I think I'm gonna actually just put it right in there. It's not gonna kill any more grass than it's already. It's a fairly dry area, and it just turns into a grow place more and more every day. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get something to tie that up. Those are two nice little trees there. Now another option is to go ahead and throw some of these into the ground. Certainly worth considering. And to plant them, or to plant them in a slightly smaller pot. Now I do have a pot over here, but it's, I think, mostly just yard sand. I'm gonna give it a go anyhow. I'm gonna go with this one. That's another one, a ramen noodle. Well, it should do all right. It's actually gonna get watered tonight. All right, and I've got a few others here. What are you doing, chickies? What are you doing? Today was a 5-egg day. Appreciate you. Well, yeah, out of these three, I think this one is actually the best one, but it's got a dead tip on it. So I'm not really that stoked on any of these. Although, you know what? This one's got a little bit of root on it. I'm gonna plant that one. The rest I'm not going to, just because the trunk's so weird on it. It'll make good compost. Okay, now this one. That in a smaller pot, and I can do that because it's got less of a root deal in it. All right, where's a pot? Here's a pot. I always have something that didn't make it, you know. Constantly experimenting. So these soft pots, I give them mixed reviews. If you've ever seen these, you know, oh, look at that, failed. That's a classic example of what happens to these. They're really not that sturdy. Ah, that would be better. Something like this. What was that? That was a banana. Yeah, I got a bunch of bananas. That'll work. In fact, that'll give it a lot of room. gonna work out really well. All I need to do, get another, see if there's any more dead things. Oh, there's a dead thing. It's kind of sandy. Now, this is a Mexican sunflower I tried to grow, but believe it or not, it died. Usually they're really easy to grow. All right. Oh, this is perfect. This actually might be the best one of the whole deal. Take a look at that. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I'll take it. And the cool thing is about this, it's small enough that I could put it in the grow table, potentially. But I don't want it to be shaded. I'll put it back here. That'll work out perfectly. Okay, so I put it right in here. Look at this little tool I got. Perfect garden. Hand hoe. So yeah, I should be really in the mango rootstock business here pretty soon. That's for sure. We got 5 in the process of growing now. That was not that hard to do, to be honest. The only last thing I need to do is give them a little bit of water. I do need to plant, I've got 2 more pineapples. I've been eating pineapples like crazy. I don't know if you saw a little lizard just crawled in that little hidey hole there. But the vertical planters have worked out really well. Got to decide, though. I could pick another one of these carrot coves. Look at all those little carrots. Can you believe that? Excellent, excellent rabbit food. Go feed the bunnies too. That's another thing. I was thinking almost of letting the chickens go back into the bunny run and graze a little bit before they go to Coop Town. But yeah, there's one of the spots I'm going to put the pineapple. And I believe I'll replace this mint down here. I'm not going to try to do that one-handed, but I got to bring that pineapple cutting out. I've got 2 of them waiting in there in water. I just kind of stage them in a bowl of water so they don't dry out while I'm procrastinating. Another great success here, chop and drop mulch. You don't need to overthink the mulch thing, in my way of looking at it. If you can live with the natural look of things, which I certainly can. I used a lot of the longan tree branches that I harvested from this tree right here. You can see the one that we're getting ready to get rid of those last 2. The only reason I didn't take the last 2 branches off this thing was because I only have so much space to process here. So I take the branches down, I drag them under here, I let them lay. In this case, the leaves don't fall off, but they dry out. Then I harvest the leaves, and I did about 50-50 leaves to the chicken run, which they just immediately get to composting. It's great for the environment back there where the chickens are. And then the rest of them I put down here as mulch, and I'd like to put it fairly thickly. Actually, the hens got out this morning, and that's what some of it's outside of it, because they get right in there, they want to start kicking. But one of the reasons I like these longan branches is that you can cut off the end. I'll show you what I mean. It's a kind of, understand your material. It's a kind of tree that the leaves and branch, it all sticks to it doesn't come off readily, which is kind of a benefit if you lay them down flat. All the leaves kind of generally just lay down flat as they dry, and then you get this rather flat situation, which you can then just lay down and interlock with others like it to make this kind of situation that it doesn't kind of blow away. It just has some structure to connect with. So I love this stuff. I find it to be highly valuable resource. And I'm proud to say, since I started doing this, we are essentially 0 yard waste, 0 food waste producing yard now in a very short amount of time. And not some like virtue signaling thing by saying that. What I mean is it's really cool. The system closes itself. It starts to get like a momentum to it, and I believe that's what I'm doing, is building up a momentum, an organic momentum. Look at this beautiful Cavendish banana grove. even though I did the dummy thing, when I trimmed the, thank you, yeah, it is great mulch, my northern garden. When I trimmed one of these branches, probably do stuff like this too. I just didn't think it through, and it fell right down, like gravity occurred, and it crushed these bananas, broke the leaves. Yeah, no big deal. If you know bananas, you know it's purely aesthetic damage. You know that the bent over banana leaf never stopped a banana leaf from helping the tree one bit. It's part of being a banana, so they love it, and I think it actually inspires them to get bigger faster for whatever reason. But yeah, I planted a whole Cavendish banana grove here. That's how I always promote people do it, instead of just one or two bananas. Get in the whole grove there, and that way you can get to a year-round fruit thing. Again, I always like to give an update on the current fruiting bananas. We have a Cavendish below, but look up here. This is a Musa, and it is so close. You can see the papaya in the background, but it is super close. And then this one is the dwarf Cavendish. Small set this time, but it was from the initial sprout that came out. That's almost, it's probably about actually a month away from being ready to be harvested, to be honest. But can't wait to harvest these. I applied bunny manure, worm tea, and yeah, and of course, this chop and drop mulch with the bananas, the new bananas. So they'll be off to a good start. And then I gave them a good deep watering. I really try to do a good job keeping my new plants watered. I can tell you that that's the number one cause of a new tree failing, is the lack of water. You know, they really do need the water to start out with. And the other thing with new trees that I would just say in my experience is that little trees like this Celeste fig tree, look at this thing, it's rather scrappy looking, but I know the nature of fig trees, and a lot of what's going on with that little guy is going on under the surface. I've been feeding it all the same stuff as everything else, so it's growing, but it just didn't really do that much this year. Next year, I bet you it's going to jump right up. You watch and see. I have a number of fig trees like that, but as long as you keep them growing, like look at this one. It's another variety. This is the, that one I just showed you was the white Marsalis. This one is the Celeste, but I expect it to jump right up. And you can see I'm growing everything fairly compact. So get a dense production in. Oh, another good news. My pigeon peas have sprouted beautiful yellow flowers. We'll go over and take a look at those. As a matter of fact, maybe let's let the hens out. Yeah, chick, chick. Yeah, chick, chick. There they are. We're missing one. Wait for it. Yeah, chick, chick. It's always one confused chicken. The chicken's over there pacing back and forth nervously on the fence because it can't figure out how to get out of the run that it lives in. It navigates every day. But as soon as they get nervous, it's like they can't concentrate. Their little chicken minds become overwhelmed with the vastness of the universe. All right, let's see if we can do this effectively. We're gonna need one chicken. Oh, see, pushed it over. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, chick, chick. Come on, come on. Come on, chick, chick. Let's see if we can herd those chickens. Come on. Like, you don't even need to touch them with the stick. You just kind of put it in front of them and they naturally move away from it. There you have it. Hey, you. I'll give them a chance to get a little grazing in before dark. Oh, we could do the classic, release the bunny in the cage with the chickens. I don't do that much. See this roosting bar, made from that longan branch. Permaculture all the way. These hens, they get right to work. They love the fresh greens. This is our little hay field. And I'm careful not to let them overgraze it. It's not much. But since it's fertilized so much, I think it just grows like crazy. This area of the yard was really barren not that long ago. But as you can see, not any longer. And you can watch these hens just slowly transform their environment, beakful by beakful. They're taking it and they're transforming it into all the stuff that the creatures in the soil are gonna, you might think a chicken poops everywhere, right? And that's the good news and the bad news. But the good news is everywhere that it poops, really, any of those microorganisms and stuff in the soil that's under there, that comes up and digests it. Things like, little bugs and nematodes and worms and all that kind of stuff. So it really, really kickstarts your whole system in a way that, does the work for you without having to really overthink it too much. The process for getting all this stuff in place, I found, is just a series of, systems that you put together one by one. The chicken system, the rabbit system, the worm system, the moringa tree system, Roselli system, mango tree system, all these systems. And looking at the inputs and the outputs form and how it connects together and how the yield, another key permaculture principle, gain a yield, realize a yield, that you have a yield of things that have value. In my case, that's going to be mangoes. Those are one of the highest value things I could produce out of this little yard. Fruit trees, things like that. So, I grow those kinds of things. I'm so happy we got two different kinds of hens. I can't imagine just looking out here and only seeing one type of hen. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And would you get a look at this moringa tree? Would you just look at this? The supple, green, magnificent leaves of the moringa. And the chickens have been kind enough to trim all the bottom leaves off because they love that moringa. Hey, Stiegelman Family Farm, thank you for jumping on the stream. Good to see you. Welcome. We just planted 5 mango tree rootstock trees, which, by the way, this is a Hayden mango tree, and this is not the kind I'm going to graft onto that rootstock that we just planted. The plan is to get it to be about the width of a pencil, and then take a cutting from here about the width of a pencil, something like this. And with a nice sharp grafting knife, give it a cut. I actually found an awesome grafting knife. It wasn't that expensive. It was a Victorinox grafting knife. I think they call it a flower cutter or a floral knife. I think that's what it was, floral knife. Anyway, man, that thing is razor sharp, and it's got like a thicker backbone on it, but it is perfect for cuttings. Yeah, I believe the variety that we have for the rootstock is Tommy Atkins. I hope it is, because they're way vigorous compared to the others in my yard. I believe they are. Yeah. Good to, chip away at it one step at a time and not miss key opportunities like that to harvest those mango trees from the compost bin. I'm gonna go at it again. I just kind of didn't want to spend too much time on it and bore people with it, but you could probably see I've got another one there and some more around the back. So we've definitely got several more. I could probably get a good 10 trees out of this, even when some of them die off. And again, this is just amazing. Can you see the strata of this compost? Chicken bedding, leaves, palm fronds, chicken bedding, you know, oak leaves, banana leaves. It seems like no matter how much I put in this thing, it continues to compress. Just deeper and deeper and deeper into this abyss, apparently. But I've got to imagine at some point it's going to stop being able to be filled up and just start to overflow. Have not reached that yet, much to my amazement. But I'm at the point now where I need to purchase a pitchfork. So I don't know if you've ever purchased a pitchfork, but it's really my first time. I've always borrowed my pitchforks. True. Soursop. Look at that. Soursop showing up for the party. Not too bad. It looks, you can see how, you know, these plants kind of normalize over time. The original leaves, like this one, you know, right from the store, and then the first wave of leaves, maybe a little yellowish. The roots are getting set up. And now that the roots are starting to get established a little bit, and I'm hitting it with wave after wave of bunny manure, now look, the leaves, we start getting the love to occur. And that's what we like, just in time. Give it a little bit of photosynthesis capability right before the colder months in Florida, which it doesn't get that cold. We're in zone 10A here, I always like to mention. And that's pretty nice. Okay, so the cherimoya tree I recently planted, I'm monitoring that carefully. Again, I always tell people that serious salt issues in my yard because we're so close to the ocean, salt in the irrigation, salt in the air. So I'm watching plants as I put them in, especially these kind of more exotic fruit trees that I haven't grown before, like the cherimoya tree. This is the custard apple, if you've ever heard of that. I keep the signs on here so that if I do videos and stuff, I can just show the picture, but that's what the fruit looks like. It's really good if you've ever had a custard apple. I mean, it is just grade A quality fruit, very soft fruit. Hence custard. They call it the sugar apple. You can see the scientific name for it. They do say it likes full sun. That's why I planted it right here. It does get full sun. 15 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and it can go down to 28 degrees. So that's actually, I thought it would have been a little higher, and that was one of the reasons I decided to just go ahead and get it. It's like, well, geez, if it's gonna be hardy, and it just looks so good. It was a $40 tree at Lowe's. They seem to have them at Lowe's around here in Florida. Got reports of them being around, so you know, I look for the deals, and this one seemed like a good one just because it was such a healthy tree. You know, and I actually saw them at a couple of Lowe's before I ended up getting this one, which was the healthiest that I saw. And I felt like this was well worth the money. And if it starts to produce a few of those fruits every year, it'll be well worth it just in novelty alone. Here's a big novelty tree, novelty plant. I'm sure you know. That, my friends, is the chocolate pudding fruit. Chocolate pudding fruit is a type of persimmon. As you can probably tell from the look of it, if you know persimmon, you can see it's got ants. The ants really love to get under the little top part of the fruit for some reason. They always do that, always. And when you pick it, you have to like hose them off and be really diligent because they like get down in the inside, not inside the fruit really, but anyway, hey, who doesn't want chocolate pudding? But this is the green type. And when it's this small, green type meaning it's not ripe yet, when it's this small, it is like hard as a rock. It's so hard. You couldn't possibly eat it. It does not counter ripen. So you got to wait for them to get, oops, knocked it with my hand. Got to wait for them to get a little soft before you harvest them. But this is a tree that will, you know, it had produced maybe a dozen a year, you know, not a heavy yield, but really enough. Yeah. My northern garden. My northern garden says, I wish I could grow a moringa tree here far north of the UK, but it's too cold. it would get going, but the winter would kill it. Yeah, that's a bummer. Of course, you always have the greenhouse option. You know, I get that that's a, you know, you gotta have the space and so on to do that and the resources to do it. But yeah, the moringa, since you mentioned the moringa tree, I thought I'd just jump over here and kind of highlight what we've got from moringa trees growing. These are not great specimens. You can see they're kind of getting caloric. They're all kind of yellow, and they've got leaf miners on this one. And, you know, have no worries. I'm going to take all of these. I've got one, two, three, four, five, really 6. And then there's 7, 8, 9 in there. There's some little trees. All those moringa trees, and I am going to probably plant them all in my yard. And I'm probably going to plant them in this manner, which I experimented with, moringas. Might be hard to see with the light, but these are two moringa tree, both, you know, under a year old, both grown from seeds, and both doing very well. As you can see, they're planted very close together. And despite that, they're doing quite well. And I've actually researched in moringa groves, like commercial groves, they do plant them rather close together. Not that close together, about a foot apart, but you know, you might be surprised how close together you can plant things like this. And of course, we're going to stubble them and then harvest them for. Yeah, well, that's it. If you're ever somewhere warm, just put it into place. This is such a soft wooded tree, the moringa, that, you know, I did reinforce it with a pole. The roselle is really looking good. I want to let it grow big enough that it will dry, and then I can harvest the seeds, which will turn black when they're ripe. But man, the problem with growing roselle, if you have, or roselli as some people call it, if you have chickens, is that they will eat it as soon as it sprouts. They love it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to eat some right now. Probably shouldn't. Be kind to your roselli tree. Roselli plant. It's hibiscus. But look at that. Just one quick scan for any bugs. Pick off the dry parts. But look at that. Hibiscus. Now you can eat that just like that. It's delicious. Very tangy. I mean, it's in the same universe as a lemon. Really, really good. So the leaves, delicious. The petals of those calyxes taste like cranberries. So good. That's one of my all-time favorites now to grow. All right, I think I left all the chickens. Yeah, they're pecking away. How you hens doing? Let's see. Yeah, it's very citrus-like, tangy like a lemon. Very tart. These barred rock hens are so cute. And even though they're a little bigger, they're bigger than our golden birds. They're definitely sweethearts. Just gentle. And I like that they have a little salad before bed. I did not check to see if they had more eggs. Oh, is there a head chicken yet? I gotta be honest, it vacillates, it changes. It was Ponzi, which is the other barred rock. It was Ponzi, but now I would say it's these little golden birds. Even though they're smaller, they're more aggressive. And yeah, I'll tell you, when the mealworms come out or whatever, they can definitely get a little territorial. But I would say any of these golden birds probably now are higher on the roost. I actually added a roosting bar to the hen house to see if there was a problem with not all of them having roosting bars at night, because I thought one of them was consistently getting kicked off the roosting bars and it might be stressing them out. I don't know if I can correlate it with the soft eggs that we had. We had some soft eggs that they laid, which concerned me, but it stopped. And that's good. It's probably that the chickens were stressed out. And it's these barred rocks that get stressed out. Seems like these golden birds, they don't seem to sweat it. Tough birds. They're relatives of the Rhode Island Red, which is a classic chicken, of course. The egg quality of these birds is incredible. The brown eggs, big, large brown eggs that are just perfect. The barred rocks are not as big of an egg, but real nice, a little bit more narrow egg, a little lighter colored shell. I'm actually due to go give a friend of mine a delivery of eggs in exchange for this sign that he is currently making. Okay, I said I wouldn't say it, but anybody who's on the stream at this point of the evening deserves to know the secret. I will reveal it right now, which is the sign that I am trading those eggs I just mentioned for is going to be a yin and yang, 4 foot by 4 foot, just a circle. And it's going to be finished with shishugiban, with the flame treatment. So artistic technique, and I think that's going to look killer there. Got a couple other really cool plans going, and that's going to be to open up this area. I'm going to take out all these panels here. I'm going to put in a screen area using the same screening as I have here, the larger stuff. Okay, envision this. This is like, I think of this as like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the train set thing that runs under the couch or whatever, behind the wall. I don't know if I'll put a train set in here. You never know. But my point is, I'm going to take out these middle areas. I'm going to make this screen. And then here, I'm going to make more or less a drawbridge that probably comes up as high as the top of this so that I can fold it down. And that way, other thing I didn't talk about was I'm going to build a little chicken walkway up to here, to the drawbridge area, so that I can open this and then allow the chickens to go right on through out here where they're already at, up the thing, and then into the grazing area, into the bunny zen sanctuary, or whatever you want to call it. Really, it's the engine of the whole yard. It's the bunny manure system. Yeah, my claim is if you want to have super abundance in your yard, bunnies are a great way to do it in a small space. Outside, collect that manure, apply it. Can't beat it. So easy. And by the way, bunnies, as you well know, are just super adorable. Yeah, my Northern Garden says foxes are a threat to the chickens. Oh no, sorry, my Northern Garden. I pressed the wrong button and I deleted your comment. I apologize about that. It's fumbling at the controls. But I remember the question, so I'll just say it. Yeah, you're saying that foxes were a problem in your area. Do we have any predators here that we have to worry about with the chickens? As a matter of fact, our pest guy that does indoor pest control for us, And we actually restricted him greatly on what he could do around the outside of the house. Almost nothing back here, but a little bit in the front. He said that people just a mile south of here were reporting coyotes. Coyotes. What? Close your little hen ears. I said coyotes. You seem shudder when I say that word. Now, no hen wants to see a coyote. A coyote, you finish these 5 hens off in one meal. So, I was like, that's kind of weird. On a barrier island that's almost 100% residential, it's like a mile wide, banked in by the ocean on one side and a 3-mile wide lagoon on the other, there's somehow bands of roving carnivorous predators, miniature wolves. Yes, it's true. So yeah, we got those, but really the more likely predator here is certainly raccoons, and we do have those. I took some mitigating steps to protect against the predators. Of course, every night we put them in the coop, but it's all screened in. No predator can get through any of these things. I have a little latch. I shut it so they're in here at night, and that's probably the majority of bad stuff's going to happen at night. So they're secure. Nothing's getting into that thing. I mean, you need to be a bear to break into that. It's really built sturdy. And then while they're out in the afternoon, they're pretty much free ranging around that whole back area there, but we don't feel like it's much of a problem in the middle of the day. But I buried cage under the ground and out all around it. So even if a predator did try to dig through like a raccoon more commonly, they probably would get discouraged. All right, it's getting dark. These hens want to get in the coop. We're gonna open up my little system here. Oh no, did I lose my chicken tender? No way. I've got it. All right, we're going with the... Oh yeah, they're getting a little nervous. Don't get nervous. Here, chick, chick. Here, chick, chick. Come on, ladies. This way. Come on. Come on. Come on. So strange. I find like you could just do this with the stick. And I know how bizarre that seems. But they just kind of go with the flow of where you're like, you can point them up into their coop and they'll just kind of go up into their coop. But I've been doing this with them since they were little. So. Yeah, look at this. I know what to do. Yeah, you're missing out. What are you going to do? Be the last hen up there? You won't have a spot on the roosting bar. Come on. You see that? She thinks I'm the rooster. No, don't worry. You can just go in. Just go in. Go on. There's always one. The last bird, the most independent bird, and that's Ponzi. Ponzi is the most independent for sure. And again, she thinks I'm the rooster. Look at that. See how they get down. Come on. One-handed. That's how gentle these birds are. Boy, this is the treatment. You know, at one point, Jack and his friends were holding the hens up so they could peck ripe fruit out of the cotton candy fruit tree. And go on in there. Go on in there. Okay. They can't resist it this time of night. It's like the tractor beam. Every chicken instinct is saying, get up in that. Come on. Yeah, James Tropicals. Putting the hens up. Well, thanks for checking on there, my northern garden. Appreciate you getting on the stream late in your neck of the woods. I think we're gonna shut down shop here as well. Chickens certainly know what's up. And we got a bunch of mango trees ready to be grafted to in about probably 6 months or so, maybe a little longer. All right, well, I appreciate everybody being on the stream. It was a lot of fun. I'm gonna head inside. The mosquitoes are beginning to swarm. If you're not already subscribed, please do. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. And stay tuned for more upcoming videos. Lots of fruit tree videos on the way.